So last week I was doing pool routes for the first time. My buddy owns this business. He services pools, and I was just kind of following him all around all day, 12 hours, 18 pools, and just trying to get an idea of what it takes to do pools, service pools. And it was a long day. And by the last pool, at the end of the day, we didn't have any problems until this one pool, the filter was leaking, and a couple of other things happened. But yeah, essentially the biggest problem was the filter was leaking. And so my gut reaction to that was, yo, well, say a prayer over it. He tinkered around with it, took it apart, put it back together. And right before we were testing, he's like, or I was like, say a prayer, you know. But then he looked at me. He was like, nah, I don't come to the Lord with such small things. And I didn't think much of it at the time. It kind of surprised me at the time, but then I kind of went about the day. The pool filter ended up being okay after that. But I sat with that a couple days, and it kind of set me back in my seat. It was like, am I praying for the wrong stuff? Am I praying for stuff that's too small? Kind of overthinking it in a way. And so I wrestled with it for a little bit. I asked him a couple questions, and I just want to show you what I learned. And I don't have any of this figured out, but yeah, I feel like just walking through the process with you. So my honest instinct was just to ask God to fix it. And that's kind of an instinct of all of us who are trying to learn how to pray to God, trying to learn what to pray for and what not to pray for, how to pray for them and how not to pray for them. And it seems pretty straightforward, pray to God for your deepest desires, pray to God to what's top of mind, pray to God for a problem that's in front of you. But God doesn't really work like that. From what I've learned, you can't just pull a lever and expect the result. You can't just use God like a vending machine. Something you want out of it, push a button, comes out. It doesn't really work like that. And so when my buddy said, I don't come to the Lord with such small things, it kind of made me ask, well, why not? Why not? And why not allow God to be in these small situations, in these small parts of our lives that are challenging? We've been praying for like big things, like a successful marriage, a big house, a successful closing of said house, just to name a few big things, milestones in our lives. But yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, okay, I'm probably missing something here. I'm only 1 year into this process of walking with God, and I'm talking to a friend who has been with God upwards of 10 years and studying theology and praying to God. And he probably knows a little bit more than me. especially studying all the people that know more than him. All the priests, all the theologians, all of the, you name it. So, so I'm sitting here like, yeah, he's probably more mature than me, but I had to take the next steps. And just humble myself and say, hey, what am I missing here, dude? Like, can you help me out with this? I mean, it's kind of really over summarizing what I presented him with. I actually filmed this video and it didn't sit right with me. And so I filmed it. I almost shipped it, but I just sent it to him before it went live. I'm like, hey, can you look over this video? What am I missing here? I misquoted him. I made a couple of different mistakes here too. So he caught them. We went back and forth, and it was a great formation moment. It's where we are here today, and then some. Because not only did I learn from that moment, I lived out his teachings and his what he's learned, and then I've lived out those things this week, and essentially, the gift that he gave me was he doesn't not pray about the small things. He takes it a step further. It's not just praying for the thing. It is praying for God, for God to be with us in the thing. God knows our deepest desires. God knows that we want the filter fixed. We want the house at the end of the day. We want our work day to be successful and stress-free. But prayer should be more thought out in a way that what is most important in life is not these material things that either stress us out or these material things that we want or anything, on earth. But being more intentional about prayer and God being with us and asking God, if this is your will, then your will be done. Allow this to happen or not. And we are okay with either conclusion. And so he doesn't just ask about the filter. He doesn't just ask about the small things, my buddy. Instead, he asks God, he offers up these issues. He offers up these challenges to God to say, hey, God, hey, Jesus, I offer you these things about my day. And I offer you these frustrations, these challenges. Please be with me in any scenario. And I give up these scenarios to you. And whatever conclusion, it is your will, and your will be done. And so he gave me an example of the McDonald's frosty machine. It's like, you don't go to McDonald's praying for it to be fixed. You don't pray for that to be yeah, you might be craving it. Yeah, you might want it. But just another little small example that he brought up that, hey, my view of Christianity might have been too narrow in asking God for this filter to be fixed and leaving it at that. And essentially in parallel, you can compare me with asking God for the frosty machine to be fixed because that is my desire. But who cares about the frosty machine in the heat of the moment? Who cares about the filter? We have to, or I have to at least, take my prayers a little bit more intentional and essentially carefully pray for the things that I present to the Lord, because the Lord gave up his life. Jesus gave up his life on the cross when he could have stopped everything. He could have stopped all of his suffering, his whole passion, and to ask for something as mundane and small and leave it at that is kind of narrow of me, for sure. This whole scenario, this whole week of learning bugged me enough to where I looked it up and I, did some research. And essentially, the church does straight up tell us, hey, it's okay to pray for these small things. They actually encourage it. Like the late Pope Francis, says, don't be ashamed to come to God. Don't be ashamed to say, Lord, I need this. Help me. I want this. Help me. But, that is essentially, it's essentially like a kid asking his father, his dad, hey, Dad, I really want this candy. I really want this fruit roll up. I really want this thing. Can you help me get it? It's too high for me to reach the cookie jar. Give me a cookie, please. I need this. But the thing that is reframing it for me is it doesn't matter what things, it doesn't matter how big or small things are that we ask for God from our Father. It's like, yo, God, help me get this house. Help me get this filter fixed. Help me get this ice cream. It's about whether when we bring these things to God is if we just allow him in our relationship to own the end result. We don't own these things, only he does. So we can pray for these things, but we just need to be mindful. I need to be mindful to just not leave it at the want or the need. My buddy just reminded me of the story from the garden. It's like, I've read this story. I've seen The Chosen. I've known what it's like to see Jesus, or to read about Jesus, praying to Father, that he was asking and pleading and begging and crying for this cup to pass. He's begging for the suffering to pass. And yet, and at the end of it, it just doesn't stop there. It is our Father's will be done. It is his say at the end of the day. It is, yours will be done. And so it's not just the story that is important to remember, right now at least, but it's important it's important for me to remember that story in the heat of the moment, because I'm human. I'm going to mess up here and there. I'm going to forget that his will be done, and sometimes, but I pray to God that I won't forget. I pray to God that I will not turn away from him the next time a filter is broken. I pray to God that I will remember that even though my deepest desires are right in front of me, even though that I might be crying or pleading to God, I need to remember that it is his will be done. And so that's what got me. Jesus asked and the cup did not pass. And obviously, I do sometimes forget about God in the weeds when I am deep in my work. You're in flow state. You might be on a good grind. You might be grinding it out, poorly, and kind of just overthinking about your work too much. And that's what I do. I forget sometimes. And so one of my buddy's tools that I want to kind of just document here for myself as a reminder, and for you maybe, is to say a short prayer to offer up your work to him in the heat of this moment. Like, similar to me, like, I stumble on my words. I am trying out new processes here to make this video one take, because I feel like my previous videos are a little bit too scripted. So I've been praying for my work to be offered up to him, and his will be done. If this video is successful, then great. If it fails, even better. In my eyes, I don't own this. And, as far as we've come in this video, I think it's going pretty well. So the prayer is to offer up your work at the end of the day. The prayer for us to all remember is, "O Jesus, through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, I offer you my prayers, works, joys, and sufferings of this day, for all the intentions of your Sacred Heart." And yeah, this is a good reminder for me, for all of us. I mean, could take that to the bank. I have saved it myself, but it's not like an overnight. I'm not promising an overnight transformation. I'm not telling you that I have transformed overnight. It's definitely helped in this last week. But it's a lifelong journey. And that's essentially where we landed with my buddy's conversation. I might have, in the moment, disagreed with some things that he said, but I took that home. I thought about it. I chewed on it myself. I did my own research. I brought it back to him in, a respectful manner, although maybe in a video format, but there was real growth happening here this week. And I'm excited to bring this forward, because not only do we have a new prayer in our tool belt, but we also have a new goal to reach for daily now. Like, my prayers have been answered, essentially. I've been praying for God to be more part of my life each and every day. And I would decipher it as, yeah, God made this moment to at least give me this prayer. I might fail in the future to allow God to be in more moments of my life, but at least now I have this prayer to remember, to reflect on if I ever do catch myself off track. So the questions are, moving forward, like, do you want to hand God just ordinary things that don't really have any meaning behind them, ordinary everyday things? Or can we place more meaning on those things to ask God, not just for those, but for God to be with us in those things? So how's that for a little a little bit of overthinking here and there, but that's what I do. That's what I do best. I'm an engineer. I got to wrestle with these things, even though jumping to conclusions is also fun. Wrestling with the more important things, wrestling with the meaning behind the big things and the small things is also really important to me. And something that my buddy said that will stick with me is that I'm never gonna figure it out until our deathbed. And that put some perspective onto me. It's like, no matter how much we learn, no matter how much we grow, no matter how much we are trying to do God's will, are trying to pray for God to be with us in 24/7. I am human. He is human. We are human. And until our deathbed, it's a mystery. And that's why in the Catholic faith, we literally say at Mass, it is the mystery of our faith. The more that we move forward, the more that we find out that we're also stepping backwards because we are broken humans. And so, no, I don't have this figured out, and you might not either. And that's fine too. All we can do is try our best and try our best to pray more intentionally that God will be with us. And so I'm just trying to present my learnings. I don't have any of this figured out. I'm not a teacher. I'm not saying I have anything of value. But if you are still here and you did find this valuable, I appreciate it. This has been a fun week. And if you have also made it this far, just a little bonus. This will be the last episode that I will be filming in this room here, with this angle, with that angle, and this angle. Literally today, we are packing everything up, and tomorrow, getting the moving truck, and we are going to the new house. So, we got exciting stuff to come, and I am excited. So I appreciate you more than ever. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time. Peace.